Well, folks, thanks for coming in for another blade video where today we're going to talk frame locks, and particularly 6 frame locks that would just make your friends jealous. You throw down one of these, regardless of the price point. I have a full spectrum for us, from really inexpensive all the way up to super premium. But there's something about a frame lock to me that just gives an extra layer of strength that I usually feel over just a liner lock. Some people hate frame locks. Some people have a really hard time with frame locks. My brother and my dad just can't seem to manipulate a frame lock very well. But I have some of my favorite pocket knives that are frame locks. And today, I'm just gonna go through a few of them with you, just showing you what they have to offer. And this one is no exception. We're gonna start off with kind of the big boy on campus. And actually is the most expensive pocket knife I've ever purchased for myself. This guy goes for a little over $400 on average, and it's the Hinderer, the XM-18 3.5 series. This is the Spanto blade shape, so kind of a Tanto, kind of not a Tanto. You can just see there is a rounded curvature, but there is a secondary grind. There we go, that's a good shot of it. For that tip, giving you a really good strong tip. And then that grinding right there, excellent edge geometry as you'd expect. This version is the S45 VN version. Lots of different versions that are out there. Let me know if you own one of these, what's your favorite steel? I know there's a whole group of guys out there that collect these and love them. This is the very first one I've ever had. This S45 VN performing very well in that family of the S35 VN. So super cool. This one is the 3.5-inch blade length, about 3.1 with the actual cutting edge. Functional choil there. Really cool. G10 on one side and then that titanium on the other. This one's like a blue purple. And I like that the G10 is screwed onto another piece of titanium, but it's not super heavy, even though this is a big, bulky blade. Coming in at like 5.5 ounces overall. This does have the tri-way pivot system. You can see right there. So it has the ball bearings on it currently. Did come with Teflon and bronze washers as well. So if you did want to do that, just kind of depends on the environment and the style that you're into how you're going to use it. Nice, huge flipper. So if you're into flippers, you're definitely going to like that one. Very easy to engage. But then you still have thumb studs if you kind of prefer that. You got your over travel stop disc underneath the pocket clip right there. And then you got your huge frame lock that just bites in and engages with that back spine there. Rock solid, because you got not only the thumb studs that act as a stop, but then you got that big pivot stop bar right back there behind the pivot. Good texturing, slick on the one side because of the titanium. This is the most customizable of all that we're going to see, and arguably the strongest of of all the frame locks that we're going to look at of the 6 today. There's one that kind of competes that we'll look at in a little bit, but super cool. Let me know, guys, what your favorite blade shape on this series is and what your favorite steel is. Love to hear the comments below. As we move right along here on this one is just dropped. Wow. We Knives coming in strong with the brand new released Reaver, I believe is how you pronounce it, Reaver. And titanium all the way around. S35 VN, you got that constant curvature, and that really is going to help accelerate your cuts on that blade shape, even though it is that cleaver design, and a lot of cleavers kind of have a straight edge like a Tanto. This one even has a swedge. Hopefully this camera is going to show it here today. There we go. You got a swedge up there. Good tip. I've been able to pierce quite a bit with that, you know, packaging and things. But then because of the continuous slight sweep, very cool. 3.97 4-inch blade. So lots of reach. Really cool accents. Black on with some of the uncoated. Thick too. 5/32. So some people would say, 5/32 on a flat grind. I don't know about that. It seems to be slicing pretty well from my take and from my experience. So really happy with, and just really cool and unique. And just look at, when you get to the handle, I mean, just look at how crazy all that milling is. No sharp angles. The frame lock really engages well. Ball bearings. You can just drop that sucker in. A lot smaller pivot, or I keep saying pivot. Stop bar right back there. recessed on the back of the blade, but a lot smaller than what we just saw on the Hinderer. Cool little accents. The overstop or an over travel for the frame lock is also the stainless steel connection point against the back spine there. So you're not going to accidentally over travel. Even the blade has a groove they have milled into the handle there so that the blade goes in and recesses. Hopefully you guys can see this. In and just kind of sucks itself in. Very cool design there. If you were to give this to them and they were into like Tron, Terminator, you know, something like that, very electronic based, listen to techno. This one would definitely be blasting some techno beats, some deadmau5, you know, if this had its own personality and was sentient. And it looks like it could be sentient at any moment. So that's this WE Knives Reaver. Very, very cool. You bust that out, your friends are gonna be super jealous. This next one is from Case and is the very first case knife I've ever used, tested here at the channel. Been messing around with now for about a month or so. And it is really cool. And it's kind of the baseline for cases, kind of dive into the more modern take. You know, Case has been around forever with the kind of mainly slip joint, multiple different styles. Sometimes they have like 3-4 blades on a pocket knife. This one is definitely more, you know, pursuing that technical premium feel and is going to give that to us at a decent price point, about 135 to 150, depends on what model you go with, what handle colors, combinations. We'll have links for you guys throughout the video below. If one of these designs connects with you and you're interested in picking up, those will be in the hyperlinks below to all the distributors that I regularly partner with here at the channel. Appreciate you guys so much. If one of these designs does make sense for you and you want to pick up and make your friends jealous or irritate your significant other because you keep dropping that hard-earned money on some blades. Well, this one stands out for a couple reasons, obviously because of what I just said, kind of Case's first dive into modern blades, but also S35 VN CPM, USA made aluminum frame lock. So that's gonna be our first one that we're looking at here that's gonna have aluminum. So still lightweight, under 4 ounces for a 3.4 inch blade, 0.14, so pretty robust, good jimp. Love that swedge and the kind of that clip. Has a very unique kind of standout line and feature. So it's got this kind of beefiness to it, but it slices much better than I thought it would. And it looks good doing it. Stonewash there on that S35 VN. Again, got that little stainless steel piece in there that also acts as the over travel stop. So you're not gonna have that over travel again, ball bearings. So most of these are going to have ball bearings. So that's just something to be aware of, particularly in the more premium side, just because that's what you kind of expect. The frame locks tend to be more of a classy blade. There are hard use ones out there, obviously like the Hinderer and the other one that we're going to look at, but they tend to be a little bit more of a gentleman design. G10 on this particular one, so going to give you a little bit of a tactile feel. The one drawback, now it's positive because it's an ambi and a lot of frame locks are not ambi, but the loop over, even though it's big, it binds up on those screws, you know, and kind of tends to ride high, and I have to really push it down over. It really would have been nice just to see recessed screws. That would have taken it to the next level. Still great, but you may end up either wanting to do like an aftermarket pocket clip or just kind of learning to have to do like a secondary push to get it over those screws. So that's the only kind of data point. Lots of different handle color combinations that are available as well on this, but lots of fun, strong blade shape, and just a cool feature to have from Case. Now, what about budget? Now, it can be tricky to get a budget frame lock, but they do exist, and this one is the GERBER Affinity. And I was actually really surprised, and I kind of grew an affinity and have kept it around up to this point in the collection because it has two different versions. This is the copper tone with black handled version, or excuse me, yeah, black handle, copper handle right there. Really has worn well. I like the style and kind of the staining. Cool little Gerber, you know, pivot accent point on that side right there. 3.7 on the blade length. D2 steel on this version comes in at under 40 bucks. So that's pretty cool. They do have an even cheaper, like $30 version that has 7CR. I just prefer this. D2's better, 7CR, Does have a really interesting feature in that the thumb stud, though this is not an ambidextrous blade, you can unscrew it and adjust where you want the thumb stud based on the size of your hand and the pivot action. So good pivot action. I was really surprised by that. Nice and smooth. Frame lock hits about 50% of the blade back there. And something that Gerber does a lot, which I like, I don't have this problem, but I know certain people do with the pinch point, like I said with my dad and my brother. This has a pinch plate, so you don't accidentally hit the frame lock. And the benefit is that that pinch plate also acts as the over travel stop. So you're not gonna over travel, but you can rest your fingers there. And not only does it give it a cool accent, but you're not gonna accidentally pinch and put pressure on the frame lock, causing you to not be able to engage it. Large handle, you know, I mean, it's a budget-friendly option. The one issue that I have is that where the frame lock moves away, you can see right there, it's a pretty sharp little angle right there. I don't really connect with it. Every once in a while, I'll rub up against it and I'll feel it. You could just hit it with some sandpaper ever so slightly. That's really the only critique that I have. Dead centering, I've had it for quite a while. Good pinch point, you know, pocket clip that's blacked out. Nice smooth action, even though it's not on ball bearings. I believe it's like Teflon washers or something. Nope, those are bronze, sorry. Those are bronze washers in there, which is nice to go along with the bronze handle, copper handle. So super cool, and that will get you into a frame lock and kind of have a stylish, on the larger end of frame locks that are available, but you're not gonna break the bank and you'll get some cool features to boot. This one is super cool. I love this one so much. It has a very special connection point for me. This is a Viper Knives, so made in Italy, Viper knife, and it is an Orzo 2 from Jens Anzo. And this one, very cool design and kind of stands out. The original Orzo was a liner lock. This one, the Orzo 2, is now a frame lock, 3.5 inches, crowned spine. Micarta is the version that I got on this side. Micarta handle scale, titanium frame lock. And I will argue probably has the most attention to detail and just like artistic attention on the titanium and the frame lock. Look at all the contouring. So it's contoured, it's not squared off. The micarta is also rounded and contoured, very natural, organic. Whole Foods would be proud of how organic this is. In the hand, just feels great. Fills out the hand so nicely. Really cool pocket clip as well. Just works so well. Over travel stop is also the connection point for the frame lock. Very tight. Runs on washers that are caged ball bearings. But it deploys easily enough without flipping, but it doesn't have quite the like smoothness. Here's the case, just kind of as an example. You can see there, I mean, it's like, it just spins around. This one is a little stickier isn't the right word. It may be because the frame lock immediately is holding some tension on the pivot more than maybe some. Great detent. So I don't know. It just doesn't run and operate like a lot of other ball bearings that I know. It's not a negative, it's just different. But that micarta is so warm to the touch. And what other cool aspect, even though it's 0.16, so again, 5/32, but tapers real quick with that full flat grind. This has a very unique steel. I'm gonna actually read it off frame here for us, just to make sure I'm doing it right. It's the LO-QPM 20-4, which is a German-made steel in the family and in the same catalog of M390, but has some of the toughness of like 154 cm and 440C. So that's gonna give us toughness. They've rock welded this a little bit lower, 57 to 59, so it's not gonna be as chippy, a little bit easier to tune up. Very cool design, very unique profile. Not outrageous on the price point either, about $175 for this model. You can get it with a titanium scale on the other side as well, so titanium and titanium, or you can get titanium frame lock and carbon fiber. The carbon fiber one, I believe, is $185. I think the titanium one might be around that same price point. So under $200 gets you in the door with this Italian-made, Danish-designed, really cool, unique, you're gonna have a blade steel that people are gonna be like, whoa, never heard of that. So this is really gonna be a standout option and make a lot of your friends jealous, not only just the way it looks and the attention to detail, but some of the very unique features that this particular model will have. And we come in landing on this monster with the zero tolerance 0308. This is CPM 20 CV steel, 20 CV steel, excellent steel in the family of M390. Huge broad blade, definitely in line with like old school zero tolerances. A lot of zero tolerances now are going much more like technical and lightweight, and I mean that's all cool, but this is kind of like where when I first started getting into pocket knives, these were what ZTs were. Big, beefy, broad, heavy, you know, gonna crush you tank type of blades, and that's what this knife is. I mean, it is just excellent. G10 on one side with the titanium, then the titanium frame lock, huge, excellent lockup. Flow through on the back pivot, so I mean, you could blow it out and clean it. Some people would argue that might be like really gunky. I haven't had an issue yet with it. It does run on I think it's the KVT ball bearing system, so nice and smooth, really good. Huge stop pin back there, really cool flipper as well. 3.75 on the overall blade length, very high saber grind, fat blade with that great swedge, textured titanium. So it reminds me a lot of that last one that we just saw from Viper Knives. So there's a little bit of texturing there, not super aggressive, and the G10 isn't super aggressive either. You can get it in a few different color combinations, including a tiger striping. When I'm making this video, is still available. Not cheap. We're gonna run you between like 300 and like 350, depending on the version, model, availability. But huge, look at how big that pivot right there is. I mean, that is just super strong, super tough, super strong. Very cool. I love this blade. I was really on the fence going into it, but my buddy Matt hooked me up, and he was like, "Dude, if you like big blades, you got to try this one out." He was absolutely right, and I've fallen in love with this frame lock design. Well, guys, there you go. There's the collection. 6 frame locks that will make your friends jealous, your pocketbook hurt, usually. But are just so much fun, and I love them. I love frame locks, but I want to hear from you guys. You know, what are some frame locks that maybe either you really like that I should take a look at, or do you not like frame locks at all? Can you not really stand for them, and you prefer liner locks, or just go in a different direction altogether? I always appreciate that type of feedback. Let me know your thoughts, guys. Which one of these stands out best to you, that makes the most sense for you, that you connect with. And just having fun, throwing up content like this every single week. I encourage you to subscribe if you're not yet a subscriber. Check out the other video popping up. And until next time, always remember, stay equipped, stay prepared, and I'll see you out there.